Hey everybody, I'm the Crockett Cooner, and this is the Crockett Coon Hound Show, and you've reached Fireside Chats with the old Cooner. Now, Scooter's not with me again tonight, but I believe it is February the 26th, 2024, and welcome if you're new. But for everybody that follows us, you know it's been a second, guys, and I've been out getting stuff to, in fact, make a good video. Been kind of wondering what I was going to make this next video on, kind of an interesting thing. And then I thought, what is a coon hound show? Something that says coon hound in it, and people don't really understand what a coon hound is. What's coon hunting? What are you guys talking about? What do you do? I think most people can understand it's a raccoon and that we're after, and but when you say coon hound, I think a lot of times people don't know. They're like, what are you talking about? They visualize like maybe a little beagle hound or a basset or something. But I decided, I was like, you know what, tonight I'm just going to kind of keep it simple, and I'm going to make a video over this. So as luck would have it, guys, I have in fact been on a coon hunt recently. Had a lot of folks with me on this one. We got some good videos, and I decided to make this fireside chat for you guys. So where to begin? So, all right, for folks that don't know, there are in fact recognized coon hound breeds. Now, there's the Walker Hound breed, the red tick or English hound, a blue tick, a plod hound, and there's usually these general recognized breeds. Red bone hounds is the same type of dogs that you see in the old book Where the Red Fern Grows. And they're generally considered your recognized breeds, and they're purebred hounds. Now, generally, whenever you're going to go on a sanctioned event, it is held by a professional kennel club. Now, that could be the PKC, which is the Professional Kennel Club, or the UKC, the United Kennel Club, or the AKC, the American Kennel Club. And most hounds do in fact come with papers, and we do get down, much like people that have racehorses and things, we DNA them with swabs and get makeups on them to make sure everybody knows which dog is which. And there's all types of rules and things when you're on one of these big sanctioned events. But then you can in fact just go out and have a good time and pleasure hunt. A lot of people have coon hounds that live on farms and things. They just want something to do there every once in a while. So why not get the old dog out and take him hunting, have a good time, take the kids with you. Or you can in fact have a meat hunt. Now, a lot of folks don't know what that is. That's the type of hunt we were on the other night. And the rules of it are pretty simple. Guys, they give you a time in which you have to begin to register. I believe it started at 2 o'clock that evening and went to about 6 o'clock that night. It didn't cost much. I think it was about $15 a person. And on this particular hunt, you could have as many people on a team as you wanted. Now, a lot of folks don't understand that. When you're on a sanctioned coon hunt, you can either have what they call a 3-dog cast or a 4-dog cast. You couldn't have any more than 4 hounds, and you can't really have any less than 3. Generally, and on a sanctioned hunt, you need a guide, and then you also need a judge that's also could be hunting and things on that cast. And they do it by time. That's one thing that people don't understand. On a sanctioned event, there are no firearms present, no guns, nope. It's just all about the dogs, and they basically time them and score them to see which ones can in fact run and tree a raccoon. Now, on a meat hunt, it's a little bit different. What makes them okay, particularly for us here in the state of Tennessee, is the raccoons can in fact become a nuisance type of animal for folks that have farms, livestock and things. They many times will get up there, try to eat the grain corn. They'll tear up crops and stuff, Not to mention a lot of times in places like public parks, A lot of times there's a lot of woods and things. They'll come get in the garbage cans, and you never can tell. One of them might have something like rabies or a problem. So coon hunting does in fact do its work by helping kind of keep the population of them thinned down, manageable, so that the wildlife does not in fact overrun and start becoming a problem. But with the recognized coon hound breeds, there are exceptions. Now I'll show you guys a pic here. These are my two girls. That is Lucy and Dot. And for people that don't know what they're looking at, you might think, well, they are in fact the same dogs. Well, actually, Lucy is the mother to my other dog, Dot. Now, Lucy is in fact a purebred Walker Hound. You can see her there. She is the bigger dog in the picture. But then the smaller one is Dot, and she is half Walker Hound and half Red Tick Hound or English Hound. But anyways, in major events now, they do consider that like an X-bred hound. Some people call them a mixed breed hound, but they do have papers now. Used to, you couldn't get the paperwork. And with coon dogs, for people that do in fact want to breed them and things, they like to have paperwork. Sometimes people don't care, if they're just a pleasure hunting dog, and you can in fact sometimes go back and get papers. But many times, guys, that can in fact be a little bit difficult to do. But back to the hunt. So we went out. Now, a lot of folks don't know that coon hunting takes place at night. It's one of the rare sports like that involving hunting that you really can do at nighttime, especially in the state of Tennessee. Now, some states, the rules and things differ. And folks do, in fact, coon hunt all over the United States, Mexico, Canada, Alaska. They're everywhere. And maybe even some folks overseas. I don't know. I'm sure there's some pockets of raccoons and people that hunt and things. But you go out in the middle of the night. Now, we use GPS collars. That's right. We track our hounds' global positioning because they do, in fact, have a really good nose on them with a real good hound, guys. And you want a dog that if it only needs to go 100 yards, that's fine. But if it needs to run 300 yards, that's fine too. You want it to do what's right and get down there and get the job done. But we took the dogs out and we put our GPS collars on and we turned them loose in the middle of the night and we waited. And that is when we heard the first strike. Now, that's a little bit of a technical term, and I believe it was my friend's dog. Her name is Purple. That means she picked up the track, and a raccoon had passed through, for those of you that don't know, and then shortly after that, Dot struck in, and they started running the raccoon. Now, this is kind of where it gets difficult to explain. It's almost one of those things that if you don't know and you're new to this, a hound sounds different from a bark or when it's running a track, following the track of the raccoon. They bawl out as they run. It's just a different sound. It's a big, long, drawled out sound that normal dogs don't make. So, here on the internet, I'm sure there's a ton of you guys that do, in fact, have maybe watched a video on coon hunting and you heard somebody say, well, he's got a jaw or he balls or, whatever they say about it. He's got a big ball mouth, and they're saying that he's real deep. So when the dogs get way away, because in times past, there were not GPS tracking systems for dogs. We had what they called the old beep beep trackers, and before that they didn't have anything. You just have to listen for them. And in real rocky and mountainous terrains, many times you can lose them pretty easy, and then you have to spend your time looking for them. But what happens on a good, perfect hunt with perfect conditions is they strike a track and you listen to them run. And as luck would have it, we can keep up with them now on the GPS. And then they tree. Now, I do believe that my friend's dog treed first, and then my dog treed, and then my other dog treed, and we did have a new dog going with us. That's another friend of mine's blue tick hound. And we started walking. Now, I kind of show you guys what it looks like. Of course, we do have all the lights and things, and years past, it's like where the red fern grew years ago, they had the lanterns, and then moved to handheld flashlights and coal miner types of lights. They still got those big battery packs on the side, and also having belt lights and things have all the batteries on it. A lot of times people, have holders and things that they will carry with them. Now, if you notice, we do in fact have on boots and stuff. Many times, I myself personally just wear rubber boots now. I try to stay away from the deep water. For all the coon hunters that are watching, guys, I used to have the chaps and all, and I know how it is. You step in there in the middle of the night, and boy, that was deeper than you thought, huh? Filled up your boots. But when the dogs tree, now that means that they have ran the raccoon up a tree. They'll change from this big ball on the track to just yep, 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 just starting to bark. And once you've done it long enough, you can listen and tell what they're doing. And if you know anything about hunting dogs, and especially coon hounds, they thoroughly enjoy this. That's what people don't seem to understand. It's from years and years of breeding and things, and some dogs just don't enjoy hunting. They just don't have the ability. It's like some people can play baseball well, other people can't play at all. It's kind of like that. But we basically walked to the first tree, and we looked, and we believed it was a den tree, meaning that's where the raccoon would just stay inside. We didn't see anything. So we got the dogs off the tree, and we walked them a little further, and we turned them loose again and started this process over. Well, the next time, for people that do in fact coon hunt, now I'm going to kind of show you guys a video here. We got down there. It was a pretty decent looking tree. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see on the video, but there was another tree leaned into it, and a big vine. It had that coony look for all of you coon hunters that are following me. But when we looked at it, it was like, no, I believe he tapped the tree, and then it happened. Now, a lot of folks don't understand this. You would think, how can a dog go that far at nighttime? But they can. So we walked them just a little bit off the second tree, and we turned them loose again. And we waited, and we waited, and we waited. We had a big full moon night. The raccoon could, in fact, see to run really well. And they went down through there, and then the nifty GPS did in fact do a little beeping, because they have switches in the collars to know when the dogs stand up on the tree. And it started giving us a reading, guys, and I believe it said 520 yards for my friend's dog, and mine all of a sudden read in there, I believe, about 510, and then shortly she treed, and then the other dogs treed. And guys, for all of you coon hunters, I tell you, if you're watching this, when I turned around and looked like this, there was a branch, a little creek running up through there, and it was thick, guys. Briars everywhere in the middle of the night. We had the kids with us because it was just a big meat hunt. So we got over to a field, and we walked, and sure enough, they got treed. And we looked. As soon as we walked up, the raccoon looked off. Now, for those of you that don't know about this, you would think, how would you find a raccoon way up in a tree in the middle of the night? Well, people squall at them using their mouths and things. I can do it pretty well. But sometimes as you just walk up, when you shine your headlamp, they look down, and their eyes glow just a bright, kind of a yellowish color, and you'll know right off the bat what you got. Now, sometimes you do get possums. Sometimes they'll bark at squirrels that are out there, maybe at night, nesting things. But this time we had one, and we got the coon out of the tree, and we took this guy back to the clubhouse. Now, that's part of the rules, and actually on the hunt that I went on, and this is what a lot of people don't know, a lot of folks like to eat raccoons. They do. And there's a gentleman out around this particular area. It's very rural. I believe there was about 10 raccoons that night that had been dispatched, and he took every one of them. Sure did. And I believe this is the spot. There's one meat hunt that I go to, but in order to get in for the drawings, you do in fact have to be back by a certain time. Now, that's the other thing. The deadline was at 10 o'clock that night. You had to be back. So if it doesn't get dark until about 6, basically you have till about 6 to about 9 to 9:30, and then you need to be driving back out there. Depends on how far off you are from the club. And we went back, All the proceeds to this were in fact going to a small fire hall there, community fire hall, keeping people safe. And in this particular hunt, they put our name in a fish bowl and started drawing. And before the night was over, we did in fact, I believe my son and myself got 2 big old bags of dog food. A friend of mine got a bag of dog food. And on hunts like this, many times, like meat hunts, they'll give away dog food or packs that have tools in them. I've seen boxes of bullets. I've seen some really nice things, dog boxes that the dogs ride in and things. Now, you guys have in fact seen those on other videos and things that I've posted in my dog box. But we had a good time. Now, to talk a little bit more about it, usually at an event like this, we did in fact have chicken stew that night. It's kind of a real home family type of event when you go on a meat hunt. You guys can take a look. I know a lot of you know about Dave, and he was just plumb tuckered out because I believe we walked about 2 miles that night. But I'll tell you guys, for folks that are interested in coon hunting and coon dogs and things, it can in fact be an expensive hobby to get into. Sometimes it takes a while to learn. Many times you want to start off with kind of a good dog. I wouldn't say just not a good dog that doesn't hunt, and then again, I wouldn't say a world champion type of hound, because you might be new to the sport and not know. I would suggest taking somebody with you that knows about hunting dogs, that's done it for years and things, and doing your research, learning and things, learning what all you need to expect, because the woods at night time's a totally different place. You turn your lights off while you're standing there listening. A lot of folks don't like that. A lot of folks don't like the walk in the middle of the night. Also, the wildlife's still there, and many times at nighttime they act different. Throughout the U.S. you have bears and elk and other things, and you'll see them more at night. But, for folks that like to do the competition hunting, now you guys know that's a totally different thing. Depends on if you're in like pup shootouts and all of these things. I used to handle dogs like that for years for 4 people. They were not my dogs. I just carried them hunting. And there's the big entry fee and the deadlines and satellite clubs and, drawing for all that stuff and everything. And then trying to get in on world hunts. And then comes all the breeding rights and who owns the dog and which night people handle it and things. It's a really extensive process for folks that don't know about it. But thought I'd take just a minute, guys, make you a short video here for any folks that are toying with the idea of that. Who knows, maybe you had heard coon dogs, it's you'd heard maybe a relative. I've noticed that a lot in coon hunting. I'll have somebody that has bought a hound and they'll say, well, they said my grandfather liked this, and they never even met their grandfather. They've never been on a coon hunt. It's kind of one of those sports that either you love it or you hate it, guys. It's a very physical sport many times. It's a dirty sport at times, because at nighttime you're sweating, you're dirty. Our 4-legged friends have 4-paw drive. I like to make that joke all the time, and some of them can get through the woods. I've seen dogs that could go a mile or 2 away from you before they tree, and then you also have to worry about them running off game. If you're there for raccoons, you don't want a dog that runs deer, and that's a whole different subject. A lot of folks do that. Other parts of the world, they have deer dogs, and then you get into July hounds and all that stuff, or rabbit dogs. All of them are about the same as far as that goes. Which one's good at what he does. Hog dogs and everything. I know a lot of people that used to hunt with me at the big professional hunts. They did in fact do other things. They might have coon dogs and hog dogs, or whatever they did, and then that involved catch dogs and everything else. But anyways, for those of you that maybe are toying with the idea of buying a coon dog, maybe going hunting, maybe you have a farm or just somewhere close by there that you want to try it out, I say don't get discouraged. Get you a decent dog, take it out there, give it a go. If all else fails, consult old Uncle Google here. There's a lot of folks that can show you a lot of things. Learn about paperwork on dogs and bloodlines, and traditional heritage with them and things. That's a big deal. You know, a lot of folks don't know that they get the big 100-year pedigrees and things on their hounds. You can look back dogs from the 1800s. It's pretty interesting. But with that being said, guys, I hope that helps y'all out. And remember, especially for those folks that are new to coon hunting and you're wondering, you know, maybe you're just toying with the idea, what is coon hunting and what's it about? I say it all the time, guys, and I'm going to say it again, especially to the new coon hunters. Remember, stay safe on the water, and if you're out there in the woods at night, definitely stay safe in the woods. So that being said, you guys have a great day.